I'll open up briefly here then. That's what you want. We've had a good week, very good week, and really focusing on ourselves at the same time, getting ready for Penn State and just the league in general, really just making sure that we're locked into where we can improve. And it's been a great week to get guys back in the flow and mix our teams and not just be in a game planning mode where we're just, this group versus that group, and really get it mixed and get guys comfortable with one another. And our guys have worked, and then we take yesterday off, and we still got about 80% of the team in here on an off day working out on their own. So I mean, that's positive, and we've got great attitudes. There's a tremendous energy with this group, and they just keep getting better and better. And as much as we're trying to get better for the long haul, our whole focus is always going to be and has been and will continue to stay that way of being into the next game. So as we get into Penn State, we know that they are playing extremely hard, and it was almost the other night like they just ran out of time because they made a great comeback in that game. That game against Wisconsin was up for grabs. Wisconsin took the lead, and Penn State never went away. And I think that's what Pat's done with his team is they never ever go away. They're constantly playing, and they're talented. They miss Tim Frazier, but every game they're that much more comfortable with one another. You can see that. And Newbill, we're well aware of him from when he went to Southern Miss and sitting out last year, and he's certainly an outstanding player and can score a lot of different ways. Brandon Taylor's been a big part of their group as a new freshman with them, and certainly now becoming one of the better shooters with range in our league, playing from the forward position. Newbill Marshall is a guy that just continues to improve and can score a lot of different ways. I think their pick and roll defense is some of the best we will have seen, and they're a physical, tough, demanding team, and we're going to have our work cut out for us. And they're a team that relies on pace and wants to play a certain way, and we've got to go in there and we've got to make the game go our way as far as pace goes. So go ahead.
I asked Coach Johnson this, but this is a veteran team that's played a lot of minutes. But how important is it still for this year's squad to just have that first true road game under their belt and going forward?
Oh, I think
how does that help?
I think it's very important. I think it's crucial that they have that because of the way that we want. I mean, this team needs to be in some fights. We said that after the game to them. We've been in some fights, and the only way you can really learn to win consistently in a league like this is to find your way through it. And I think it was really important. I think it gave them confidence.
You mentioned at the end of last game that that was one you could take a lot out of. I guess what were sort of the lessons learned, I guess, that you could take from this game?
I think biggest things are, when can you put the game away? I think is something that we've really tried to focus on. When could we have done something better in this possession or that possession? When did we settle? When did we attack? I think those are really important things. I think learning from the situations of the game. The game has so many different situations in it, and a little bit at the end with the press offense, and who do we want to hit, and what do we want to get out of it. And we'd worked hard going into that, and I think that's something that we can continue to work very hard on, for each individual game, but it just helps make you better over the long haul. I think we can always get the ball reversed better. I think that's something that we've worked hard on, and we're certainly not. I mean, we want to score. We want to score. We're not trying to get it down into the shot clock. But I think the more that we trust the reversals, the better we are. So that's something that we learned from it.
In that Iowa game, there was a point they made a run and made it really tight, and I think you guys responded with like a 10-0 run. How significant was it for this group to have a response to a challenge like that on the road in that environment? Oh,
it's extremely important because I mean it's an understanding of what it takes to win by the veterans, and it's the young guys really working their way in to that. And we want to get this team to the point where Jeremy, Hunter, Peter, and now Derek coming back for the injury, where those guys are a big part of that. Where they get that experience, and we haven't had a lot of that yet. We were basically a team that was playing with 7 guys in that game for the most part, and that's not what we want to do moving forward. But based on the way things are and the circumstances that we've been dealing with the last few weeks, and especially in the case of Hunter and Peter, how long that took to get them back, It takes time to grow into that. But for that team that was on the floor to be able to do that was really, really good.
Do you anticipate Jeremy and Hunter's minutes kind of growing a little bit as you move along?
Oh, I don't anticipate. I mean, they will. And there's no question about that. I mean, they will. It's just Jeremy missed 3 games. And when a freshman misses a day of practice or a game, it's like missing a week. And when you take somebody out of 3 games, I mean, that makes it that much harder. And then your first game back is your opener in the Big Ten. I mean, it's a matter. Experience is a part of it. Speed of the game is a part of it. But just having an understanding of what those games take and the concentration that it takes. And again, they'll grow into that. They've had an excellent week of practice. There's no question about it.
Just getting, obviously Derek's been back for a couple of weeks, but getting back is one thing, getting back into the rhythm and stuff. Where is he in that process? Getting back
well,
where you need him?
And he had a couple of setbacks this week. Today was good. Today was very good. Probably the best day he's had was today, in my estimation of since he's been back. But it's really, today he played like a guy that has played a lot of years, played a lot of games, with his help defense and his blocking out. I mean, those are the things that he's got to control what he can control. And the shot going in right now may not be it, but keeping his man in front, being a help defender, being a rebounder, those things are really, really important. And then the offense comes. But that's what I've said to him, he's just got to go out there and enjoy himself. He can't be a guy that is really vocal with his teammates when he's out like he was, and he was tremendous. It's like having another coach, and then be really quiet when he comes back because he's thinking and because, this may not be going well, or I'm not getting, I'm not making this shot, or I'm not making that shot. You just can't do that. I mean, you've got to play right over that. And it's all part of that ongoing dialogue that teammates have to have. And sometimes it's a pat on the back, sometimes it's being very demanding, but what you are is you're engaged constantly. And he doesn't need to spend so much time thinking about what it's going to take to be better and come back, but most importantly, control what he can do right now, which is the defensive things, the rebounding things, the spacing things, and then just stay real consistent with his habits on his shot, and I think he'll knock it down here pretty quick.
How much has Hunter, I guess, I don't know if grown is the word, but just now that he's been in a road game, a couple really, I guess, big games and situations, he's got a few games under his belt. Has he changed maybe much as a player that you can see in practice?
I think so. Because even when he was out, we knew he wasn't going to be in for a while. So I mean, when he wasn't playing, we knew it was you want to keep him ready for games, but all of a sudden the appeal doesn't go, and you see that it's going to be 9 games. So he's doing different things inside of that. We're trying to make his skills better, but he's not really preparing for games as much as you try to have him prepare for games. He's not in the game, so he's got that game experience, and really for him right now, it's just totally unleashing that athleticism, and using that wingspan, and all young guys think too much. And then when a guy's been injured like Derek has, and they can be the age that he is, and they still think too much when they come back because they're trying to get back instead of just controlling what you can control. And when Hunter is aggressive, when he gets out and spreads out, when he runs the court, I mean you can tell he's thinking too much sometimes of the dunks that he misses instead of just going up. And I mean, this guy's going to win many dunk contests in his life like he already has. Just go up and play. So there's that comfort level that has to come. You can't force feed it, but you want them to get more comfortable with what they're doing, and that way you can keep challenging them to improve, and that's where the growth really comes. So in answer to your question, I think he is getting a lot better.
Is there any update with Mo at all?
No, he's been shooting, but he's still got his boot on, so no. I mean, we have a timeline, but it's not a public one.
What was Jordan's response after he had an off shooting day?
I think he was right back in the gym. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was right back in here that night, I think, and I know there was no real issues with that. And he impacted the game. I mean, he really did. He impacted the game, and like I said then, I mean, we showed in the film there were 4 or 5 other opportunities he should have took shots. So he's been fine. He's had a great week, and I wouldn't say that he shot it great. So it's not like it's been like, wow, he's just shooting it so good. And I think the good thing about it is he's doing so many other things, even when he's not a tremendous shooter in practice or games, okay, he's still impacting the game at a high level. And it wouldn't happen in games if it wasn't happening in practice. And it is.
How much of an ease of your mind as a coach is it that you have a guy who has an off game and you don't even have to worry about what he's going to, you know he's going to be back in the gym? How much easier is that for you?
Oh, but he's been like that the whole time.
Right.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I look at it from, with him it's always he could do more. Not work more, but he could do more in the game. I mean, there's very few times you ever said, boy, Jordan's dominating the ball or Jordan's trying to do too much tonight. You rarely, I can't remember too many times we've said that. It's more about, okay, he should have looked for it here, he's got attack there, and he takes that pretty well. He really does.
As far as skill development with Hunter, I'm sure, like you said, you're trying to unleash the athleticism, but how is he coming along in terms of just sort of the offensive skill and be able to play in a half-court setting and getting better at some of those?
Well, we've really mixed a lot with our development of skill, like today, again, about 30, 40 minutes with just pure working through contact and drives and shots and all those types of things that really push them to develop their skills. So he's done a good job with that. The half-court part is probably ahead of the full-court part in a sense, but we've been spending so much time this week on pace and how we want to play that today was probably his best day of that. So that's a good question because there's really 3 different things going on with that, and that doesn't even count the game planning. So that's a whole other element. And but he's improving with that. He really is. There's so many different things that you've got to be prepared for in a game, and you want him to have that confidence that he can score, that he can get the ball, he can stop his man from scoring. And then the next big step is going to be what his communication's like defensively.
Time for one more question.
You mentioned at the beginning just Newbill and Marshall basically. How different are they without Frazier, and what has Newbill kind of done to? I guess how are they different with Newbill kind of running the show as opposed to Frazier?
Well, Marshall's handling the ball, Newbill's handling the ball. Those guys have taken the most amount of shots, and I think their teammates feed off one of them. They're really dangerous when they're in the same action. Whether they're on the same side, which they seem to be a lot. They both have things that they really, really do well. They have strengths that you've got to really go into and try to attack those. But I think the fact that Taylor's there, that Kalela's there, those guys that make shots. I mean, Kalela's taken all but 4 or 5 shots have been threes. So when you have that, and then the guy that's really improving is 21. Sasha, the kid that's the 5th-year guy, he is really, I guess that they've announced is not coming back next year. He's good. He's as good a pick-and-roll defender as there is in the league right now. I mean, he's good, and they're doing a good job of playing off of him. And he sets great screens, and he's a tremendous help to them defensively. So watching that game the other night, I mean, if they beat Wisconsin, that wouldn't have been a shock at all. I mean, they just keep going. I mean, so we learned that last year. I mean, you have to play every second of the 40 minutes against that team because they never stop going. And the thing that they're doing a great job in right now, everybody thinks that they don't run. Well, they're doing a great job in their transition offense. So what they're doing with that and their delayed break and their drag actions and things like that are really, really good. So and those guys are a big part of that. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.